Okay. So, guys, it turns out Nigel Farage, it may actually have been. I know, I think I said I thought it wasn't. But it may actually have been that there was a behind-the-scenes fight between Nigel Farage and Rupert Lowe that prompted him being removed from Reform. It wasn't actually about any bullying or threats or anything. It was just about, you know, him hating Rupert Lowe for being critical of the party, basically. So, let's have a look. In messages uncovered through a BBC investigation, Nigel Farage personally admits the real reason why he removed me from Reform. It's because I raised reasonable and constructive criticisms about Reform's structure, policy, and communication in the Daily Mail interview. That is why they've tried to disgracefully ruin my reputation. Read for yourself. Let's just have a look. He's got a statement there as well. Can you set up a fan that blows your hair back? No, I'm not getting on the Lewis McClung beat. Reform UK row. Leaked messages reveal Farage fury with Lowe. Let's see. Okay. Nigel Farage called the behaviour of suspended Reform UK MP Rupert Lowe disgusting and contemptible in private WhatsApp messages seen by the BBC. In the messages, which were sent after Lowe criticised the Reform leader in a Daily Mail interview, Farage accused him of damaging the party just before elections. Reform has always denied there was any connection between Lowe's suspension and his criticism of the party. In his Mail interview on the 5th of March, Lowe called Reform a protest party led by the Messiah. He was suspended on the 7th of March and reported to police over claims he'd made threats of violence against party chairman Zia Youssef. Reform said it had received allegations of bullying in Lowe's MP offices. Lowe strongly denies all the allegations. He's since accused Farage of a malicious witch hunt after being motivated to remove me from the party because I dared to ask questions. It's some baby wipes that mic, dude. I mean, I smoke around it, so I'm not sure what you're expecting. Farage told the BBC the suspension was due to protect the party. Simple. The newspaper attack on Reform UK is separate but dreadful. He has previously insisted the party was duty-bound to look into any allegations of wrongdoing. Reform's deputy leader, Richard Tice, previously told the BBC that there was absolutely no truth in claims of a link between the decision to suspend Lowe and the allegations being made public. But a series of messages between Farage and someone who's worked for Lowe in recent years reveals Farage's personal anger with Lowe about his comments in the Daily Mail. In one message, Farage says Lowe is contemptible when asked by the activist, who is not currently a party member, why Reform had not allowed a lawyer to complete an investigation before suspending him. Farage said, because he's damaging the party just before elections, disgusting. When it was suggested the investigation to Lowe was a response to his criticism of leadership, Farage replied on WhatsApp, "We're definitely damaged and within 2 weeks of nominations." Awful. Okay. So yeah, he's basically saying that. So Farage's argument is gonna be that it's not about him controlling the party, his leadership. It's about damaging the party before elections. But that's still not a good faith investigation into allegations of bullying in his MP offices. That's not what's happening here. Farage went on to say the Mail interview was a side issue and that the party had to investigate the claims against Lowe. But the messages reveal a level of animosity between the suspended MP and his team, and the Reform UK leadership, alongside the claims about his behaviour, which Lowe vehemently denies. The BBC source is themselves the subject of an allegation of bullying, which they strenuously deny. Okay. So I guess the BBC source is one of these people in the MP offices that is being accused of bullying under Lowe's watch. Got you. Why on earth wouldn't they let the KC... That's... Oh, what? That's some... Fuck. What is a KC? There's some auditing, like, jobs board or some shit. She's horrified. I'm pleading with you. This is blank madness. Because he's damaging the party just for elections. Disgusting. Right, so it's not about the investigation then. Get this on screen. Of course it is. So why not let it finish before going public? But beyond that, he's contemptible. Thousands of people working hard for May 1st. The KC inquiry was the right thing to do. No question. Reputation of the party must be protected. Okay, so basically here they're complaining that Farage hasn't waited to find out the truth before making this stuff public. Which makes sense. The only reason he would do that is to oust Lowe. The BBC has spoken to several members of Rupert Lowe's team. Among them are people who have worked alongside Nigel Farage for years and admired him, but many are now deeply critical. One said, Nigel is thin-skinned and egotistical. I've spent years defending him, but the aura has gone for me now. Reporting Rupert to the police? Come on. They're trying to put him in prison. The staff member went on to claim that the root of this whole row was Elon Musk's praise for Lowe on X, saying, Nigel Farage is very sensitive about his American contacts. Another staffer said, it is absolutely terrible the party going to the police. You'd never find someone more kind and considerate than Rupert. You don't have policies of party, you're a joke, and that is what Rupert was pointing out. The BBC has also seen evidence of lengthy and detailed exchanges between Lowe's officers and Parliament HR over the alleged conduct and subsequent departures of two members of staff. Okay. Obviously, you think the mail piece was damaging, and this is a response to that. I think you should have the courage to admit it. We're certainly damaged, and within 2 weeks of nominations, awful. So this is why you did it? It's insane. No, that's a side issue, but in 30 years, I've never seen worse. Disgusting. Okay, so he's really upset about that. I wouldn't say he's admitted that this is the reason, but he is really upset. He's clearly seething. Lowe has long insisted that he and his staff diligently follow due process Parliament requires of them, and there was no need for the party or a senior lawyer hired by the party to get involved. Reform UK is expanding rapidly, now boasting more than 200,000 members and regularly topping or coming second in national opinion polls. Nigel Farage has publicly acknowledged that infighting has damaged the party's chance of progress. Farage admitted himself in writing that the motivation behind my removal was the Daily Mail interview in which I raised reasonable and constructive questions of the reform structure, policy and communication, following months of pushing for change behind the scenes. That interview is why they designed and launched their horrific smear against my name. It is evil behaviour. Nigel Farage must never be Prime Minister. All I've done is tell the truth. I'll continue to do so. In the WhatsApp exchanges, Farage asked whether that row could have been handled better. He says, given the allegations of bullying in the current world, we have to take this seriously and to be seen to take this seriously. Okay, so, I mean, he doesn't quite admit it. He does not quite admit that that was the reason. But he does, he is clearly... I think you can infer that he's heavily motivated by that Daily Mail interview. Is there anything more worthwhile in this? These messages uncover visceral hatred of me. Directly asked why I was removed for any investigation, therefore the reason why my expulsion, smear campaign's response in writing because he's damaging the party just before elections. Disgusting. Okay, well, I mean, yeah, I don't really care about this. Did you polish your nose today? It looks extra shiny. Okay. Okay. Let's see if we can find any UKIP guys talking about this. Not UKIP. You know what I mean. Reform. That's the one I mean.
Reform have not been damaged at all.
Wow. Hard intro here. Absolute hard intro.
Reform have not been damaged at all. accept that a few thousand members appeared to have quit the party at first. But now, from what I can see, the polls are still going Reform's way. Nothing's really changed. A new poll from Ipsos, where people were allowed to give more than one answer, by the way.
Okay, but aren't these guys all upset about the fact that he's pushed out Rupert Lowe for advocating for mass deportation? Surely they would want Reform to be damaged at this point.
Showed that Reform came out on top again, 6% ahead of Labour, with 36% putting Labour on 30%. And now a new story has come out about Rupert Lowe, which I only heard recently, is that Rupert Lowe actually challenged Farage in front of other members and other party officials from Reform UK, telling Farage that he wanted to be Prime Minister and that he would destroy anyone who got in his way. Now, this doesn't sound like a very Rupert Lowe thing to say, so let's take it with a slight pinch of salt. However, compare this to your own professional life, your own working life. If you're on a conference call or you're in a meeting with your boss and lots of other bosses and you're all talking about something and your boss says something that you completely disagree with, do you challenge that boss in front of everybody like that? Do you shout out your opinions in front of everyone? No, you don't. What you do is you wait till the meeting's done. Then you speak to your boss and you say quietly, I think you're wrong about this. I think you're wrong about that. Could that have been handled
It is a proper bent earpiece, isn't it, man?
Etc. You do not challenge your superiors in front of other people, whether it's members of other party officials, for example, in this case. And if I was Farage and this did, if this did happen, then I would have been looking to get rid of that person as well. What happens internally is one thing.
Have they all just fallen in line? Are they all just gonna fall in line? Are they all just gonna fall in line? Are they not care anymore? I thought they all fucking hated Farage for kicking this guy out. But now it seems like this guy's just going like, okay, well, never mind. Alright.
You're going to start sowing division like that in front of other people, challenging the leader in front of other people, then that person...
Oh, wait, okay. Fuck this, this right loser, right? We got a real Aryan, okay?
To British Standard, a bit of breaking
Aryan
news
Reform
for
supporters
you
coming
this
in.
evening. As you can read there in the title, some leaked messages have revealed the truth between the Nigel Farage and Rupert Lowe feud. Now, again, to be fair, as they always say, the truth will always come out in the end, and we've seen the back and forths between Rupert Lowe and the Reform Party over...
Yeah, dude, why is he doing this voice? There's no way he actually talks like this.
Suspended. We are going to get into the leaked messages. We're going to go into Rupert Lowe's response as well. And as always, guys,
we're going to go into Rupert Lowe's response as well.
So do get involved in the live chat. We'll have a little conversation on where you stand with everything. But just before we get into the leaked messages, are you a Reform supporter? Yes or no?
Reform.
Let me know down there in the live chat. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button, and let's get into today's stream. So, as you all know,
he's doing the BBC
now, of course,
voice.
Rupert Lowe was suspended by Reform on 7th of March and referred to the police. Now, Reform issued a statement at the time claiming he had made threats of violence against party chairman Zia Youssef and said he had received allegations of bullying in his offices. Lowe strongly denied all of those allegations. Lowe's suspicion...
Reform is the only chance Britain has. Like, dumbest opinion in the fucking world. Nigel Farage is a complete worthless retard. Zero good policy positions. And anyone who doesn't wrestle with the fact that mass immigration is a necessity is a complete retard. And Nigel Farage is not. So, what are you going to do? I don't want a leader who's delusional and willing to torture the economy for retarded ideas about ethnic identity, frankly. That's me personally, though. Me personally.
A suspension came 2 days after he called the Reform Party a protest party run by a messiah in a newspaper. The Great Yarmouth MP accused Farage of malicious witch hunt and been motivated to remove me because I dared to ask questions. Farage has always insisted...
Zero isn't exaggerating. I truly don't know what reform, like a single policy of reform that is actually good. Like, I've never heard them argue, like, a policy that's, like, of remote interest. It's all just, like, get rid of the fucking Muslim. That's legit it. That's all they talk about.
that the party was duty-bound to look into any allegations of wrongdoing. And then Reform's deputy leader, Richard Tice, previously told the BBC there was absolutely no truth in claims of the link between the decision to suspend Lowe and the allegations being made public. However, as they say, guys, the truth always comes out in the end, and we do have a series of messages that have been leaked after an investigation. Now, we're going to go through that and Rupert Lowe's fiery response to these leaked messages as well. So yeah, let's go through what was said. So it's from, the messages are between a long-standing activist.
Okay, we read these. I want some opinion.
If you
want some takes,
you should be a good leader should be able to stand there and take criticism, and especially from his henchmen, from his people, his inner circle should be able to take criticism and should be able to find faults and pick faults and be aware of those and take people's opinions on how to make changes and improve as a leader. Not everybody's opinion you have to take as such, but you should be open to the idea of having some criticism and taking some points to try and progress yourself and be better as yourself as a leader. But it looks like Nigel Farage can't take those points whatsoever, which makes me think that he is not a good leader if he can't take any criticism from inwards, from his own party that wanted the same thing. Heck, I would even say Rupert Lowe is a man of the people. He's a voice of British patriots. He's someone that wholeheartedly has his heart on the line. He's a guy, he's a businessman that's donated his whole monthly wage.
Yeah.
Is parliamentary wage.
Just totally sucking this guy, just continually sucking this guy off.
Every single month, because he doesn't need it. He's in it for the passion and the heart and wants his country back. And someone, he can't take criticism from him. To be fair, I think he was really scared. With the Elon Musk situation, Elon Musk saying that Rupert Lowe is a better leader than Nigel Farage and saying that Nigel Farage isn't up to the business of leading this country. I think it was a bit of scarcity from Nigel Farage, and he couldn't hack that Rupert Lowe was getting a lot more.
This guy's like barely saying anything. I can't find any other takes. This is annoying as well.